stream. Happy New Year! In this week's live lesson, I'm going to talk about how to talk about your study goals for the year. So in this week's live lesson, I'm going to talk mostly about your language-related study goals, but I'm also going to talk about some other things you can consider for other goals in your life this year. So I hope that you can find a couple of tips that will help you to have a productive and efficient year. As you join live, as always, please make sure to hit the like button and of course share this video so that other people can find today's lesson. That would be super cool. While we wait for people to join us live, a couple of super quick announcements. As always, the team has put together something for you to check out if you haven't already. If you check this banner right here at the bottom of the screen, this test your level banner, you see this right here, you will find, if you check the link below the video if you're watching it on YouTube or above the video if you're watching it on Facebook, you will find this page, which I'm pulling up right now. You will find, maybe you won't find this page. You will find a page where you can check your level. You'll find a page where you can test your English level. There it is. You'll find this page where you can take a quick test, or rather there's a link to take the test so that you can take a look at the types of lessons that our website will recommend for you. So if you scroll down on this page, you will find this 1, 2, 3, 4-step process if you have trouble. And then after the test, you'll find a score so you can take a look at the recommended learning pathways. So check this out if you're not sure about your level and you want to get some ideas for your studies this year. That is announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is, as always, if you have questions for me, if you have questions after today's live stream, if you think of just some small thing when you're studying, please send it to me. Please send it to me for our weekly Q&A series called Ask Alicia. This is an old screenshot from the series. You can send me your questions from the link in the YouTube description if you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching on Facebook, you'll find, you have to go to YouTube. It's at EnglishClass101.com/ask-Alicia. That is the official question submission page. Do not send me your questions in YouTube comments or Facebook comments or Instagram direct messages. There are way too many. Way too many. I will not see it. So please send it to the official question submission page. That would be super. I will definitely read your question if you send it to me there. Okay? So send them to me and I will maybe answer them in the regular Q&A video session. Okay, so that's all. I think everything is live. Everything is going good. Yeah? Hi, everybody on YouTube. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you all. Martin and Rushir. Hi, Hugo. Hi from Boston. Welcome. Asad Vicente, I hope from Mexico. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, how's life been treating you? Super good. Yeah. Okay. Gerardo. Hello, Miguel. Great. Everyone is here on YouTube. Facebook. What's up, Facebook? Hi, Bantawa from Nepal. Welcome. Hi, Abdulali. Hello, Ismail from Libya. Welcome. Pierre, hello. Your name is Colas? Okay. All right, everything is rolling good. So let's go to our lesson topic for the day. Let's talk about our lesson topic for the day. If you missed it earlier, today we're talking about how to talk about your study goals for the year. So I'm going to do this lesson in 3 parts. I designed this, I hope, so that it's easy for you to answer 3 key questions to work on your goals for the year. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to speak a little more slowly. We're going to cover 3 main questions. First, what is your goal? And we're going to talk about good goals. 2, what steps are you going to take to achieve your goal? And 3, what are your study resources? So I have these 3 kind of key questions to help you make a plan for yourself. This is just a different way that you can approach your study goals for the year or your other life goals for the year. So if you have other questions or want some other ideas, you can check my past videos about making study goals, especially at the beginning of the year. So have a search on Facebook or YouTube. Okay, let's get started. If you haven't, I haven't, please make sure to like and share the video so other people can find it. I'm going to do that right now. I almost forgot. Out of practice after a week. Okay, shared. Good. All right, let's get started. So first, let's begin with the first question here. Very important one to think about. It's okay to take some time to think about it. First, what is your goal? What is your goal? So, I have talked about goal setting a lot on this channel. Setting a good goal is very important. So, what is a good goal? How do you know if you chose a good goal or not a good goal? Your goal should be specific. It should be measurable. So, that means you know when you achieved it, or if you failed, that's okay. You should know that it's realistic, something you can actually do, and you have a timeline, yeah? You have a deadline for it. So if you have seen this channel, and maybe you've seen me talk about SMART goals before. That's the concept behind our goal setting, good goal setting. Okay? So let's look at some examples of really nice goals, very straightforward goals. They're not easy, but they're very straightforward, yeah? These are good goals. So I'm going to pass test. So this test is your test, a language proficiency test or some other kind of certification test, whatever. So I'm going to pass this test, yeah? This is a good goal because it's very specific. It's very clear, right? Pass or fail. So we can measure, did I achieve the goal or not? That's a good goal, right? And if this is your goal for the year, you have a timeline, right? In 1 year, I'm going to pass this test, okay? So this is an example of a nice, clear goal, okay? Here's another one. My goal is to learn 2,000 new vocabulary words. My goal is to learn 2,000 new vocabulary words. So again, this is a good goal because it's very specific, right? 2,000 new vocabulary words is very clear. And we know if we reached the goal or didn't reach the goal. Did I learn only 1,000? Then I didn't reach my goal, right? These goals I created are for 1 year. But of course, you can make smaller goals. We're going to talk about that in part 2, okay? So this is another example of a specific goal, okay? One more. I'm going to take 1 year of language courses. I'm going to take 1 year of language courses. So again, this is one that's very easy to measure. So did I take language courses for 1 year or not, right? This is one action we want to measure for 1 year, okay? So we're going to cover how to break these down in part 2, the steps to reach your goal in part 2. So you can send your goals in the chat. A lot of you I've seen already, a lot of you are just writing, my goal is to learn English this year. This is not a good goal, right? I understand your point, but think about it in a different way. This is a very common request. People say, how do I get fluent? How do I learn? How do I do this? My goal is to speak like a native speaker. Those are really difficult to measure. So this example goal, this is a very common goal I see. This year I'm finally going to be fluent. It's like, what does that mean? Like, how do you measure that? So why is this not a good goal? It's not specific. What is fluent? How do you know when you reached fluency? It's not measurable. You can't measure your fluency. Like, you can take a test, yeah, but a test is not like a measurement of communication skills, right? And it maybe isn't realistic. Like, if you are a super beginner in a language you're studying, it's probably not realistic to go, oh, I'm gonna be super fluent in 1 year. So try not to use this kind of goal. Instead, choose these specific goals. Give yourself a target to aim at, yeah? Okay, so keep this in mind. Don't say to yourself, I'm going to be fluent this year. I'm going to be fluent. That's really hard to measure, and you don't know. It's hard for you to have a target if you do that. So we'll talk about some more small goals later. Okay, I want to finish with one more point here. I read this in a book recently, and I really like this. If you're not sure exactly what target you want for yourself, not just for language, but if you're not 100% sure, like, what do I want to study this year, or what's my focus thing this year, this is something I liked. I'm going to learn about X, Y, and Z this year. I'm going to learn about X, Y, and Z this year. So for example, maybe you have 3 topics that are interesting to you, and you don't know yet, like, which one should I study? Like, which one should I focus on a lot? Maybe you can say, I'm going to read a book about X, Y, and Z. 3 different topics this year. That can be another really good goal if you're not sure about what to do. Okay, so this is one I realized, I found in a book recently. I thought it was a nice one to share. Okay. Phew. Okay, some people are sending some examples. Many of you are still writing this goal. I just said this is not a good example of a goal. I'm going to be fluent is not a good goal. Why? It's not specific. It's not measurable, not realistic. Think of a different way to write your goal. My goal is to learn new vocabulary words. My goal is to pass a test. My goal is to take a language lesson every week, right? Some of you are still writing this goal in the chat. Try to think of a different way. Anna, what's up? Anna says, one of my goals this year is to watch 10 movies in English without subtitles. Yeah, Anna, you crushed it. Anna, one of our team members, she's the best. Awesome goal, Anna. Great one, great one. Okay. All right, so this is part 1. What is your goal? Make it specific. You are helping yourself by making a more specific goal. This helps you to have a target, right? If you have no target, where are you aiming, right? So give yourself a target. Okay, cool. That is part 1. If you want to know more about this goal setting, search for SMART goals. Oh, it's snowing. Oh, how nice. Okay, let's go to a quick break and then we'll go to part 2, okay? If you missed it earlier, the team has a free level check that you can take a look at from the link below the video on YouTube or above the video on Facebook. I showed this earlier, but if you click the link, you will find a page where you can access this. So you put your name and your email address in, and you can take this level check test. It will check your English level according to your answers on the test. It's totally free. You don't have to worry about anything. And then at the end, you will get a recommendation for the lessons, for the course path to take. So check this out. You don't have to take the course, just to get an idea of some different things you can do to work on your studies. So maybe you will find something that matches your goal for the year. Yeah, so check this out. The link is below the video on YouTube and above the video on Facebook. Okay, all right, so let's get to part 2 now. On part 2, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. Okay. Ooh, there's a good goal in the YouTube chat. Aida, I hope I said your name right. Aida Ayulman, my goal is to learn 3,000 new vocabulary words this year. Super, that sounds like a challenge. Good luck with that. That's a good goal. Okay. Andres says, I'm going to watch all of Alicia's videos. That is huge. I think there's probably like at least 1,000. Like, good luck. Okay. All right, let's go to part 2. Part 2, extremely important. So part 1, what is your goal, right? It's very important to have a goal. Part 2, the next thing to ask yourself, what steps are you going to take to achieve your goal? What steps are you going to take to achieve your goal? So if you're like Ayula, sorry, I forgot your name, to study 3,000 vocabulary words in a year, how do you do that? Or if you're Anna, how do you watch 10 videos without subtitles? How do you break down those goals and give yourself small targets every week to hit? Here are some examples, okay? So, for example, I'm going to take lessons 3 times a week. I'm going to take lessons 3 times a week. So for example, maybe your goal is to give a business presentation this year. That's a great goal. How? So I'm going to take lessons 3 times a week. Okay? So this is just one example of something to do. If your goal is to pass a test this year, I'm going to take a practice test once a month. So this could help you to prepare for the test. So once a month, taking a practice test, or maybe once every 3 months, taking a practice test. So these are ways that you can make small steps or bigger steps toward your goal. Here's another one. For vocabulary studiers, some of you, I know this is always something for me. I'm going to study vocabulary for 20 minutes a day. I'm going to study vocabulary for 20 minutes a day. So like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, for example. Okay? So these are your small goals, your daily goals, your monthly goals, or your weekly goals, yeah? Okay, I want to talk about these two now. So I know, of course, this is a language learning channel. This is a language learning focused lesson. But I know lots of people, I see your comments and I see your questions and messages sometimes. A lot of people ask about building confidence, right? So confidence in your communication skills and feeling, a lot of you I think feel very nervous when using your second language. Of course, I completely understand. I did and I do sometimes. So think about some things you can do to build your confidence. Have a confidence goal as well. For example, I'm going to do things I enjoy to build my confidence. So maybe if you feel like, I don't do much that makes me happy, work on building your confidence too. Or give yourself other small things to achieve in your life to build your confidence. So don't forget to build your confidence, your mental skills too. Or for another personal development point, I'm going to look at my weak points and learn about how to improve them. I'm going to look at my weak points and learn about how to improve them. So if you're like, oh, I need to study vocabulary, but it's so hard for me to make a schedule, maybe you can say, okay, I'm going to look at time management skills. I'll take like 3 months and really focus on time management skills. Maybe I'm bad at that. I'm bad at that. So time management skills. So I'm going to work on improving these skills, right? So these aren't directly language skills, but they're very closely related, yeah? So take time to build your confidence, take time to build your other skills and work on those weak points. If you know you have a weak point, take some time and think about how to improve it, yeah? Okay. Oh, good. Some goals are coming in. Alaradam says, listen to a podcast in English every week. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Kolo says, I'm going to watch one video each day from Alicia. Nice, that's cool. Okay, Pookie Zeza says, my goal for this year is to build my own business, an online shopping page. Super, okay, great, great. That sounds awesome. Edvin says, what is your goal, Alicia? Oh, my goal this year, I'm working on building my interview skills. So I'm taking lessons with a teacher about once a week to talk about recent news topics and other topics related to my work. So that's what I'm going to work on to build my vocabulary and my interviewing skills in Japanese. Yeah. Okay. One more. The last one. This is one I also do. I started doing this years and years ago, and it's been good and challenging. Here's another small step you can take. I'm going to write social media posts in the language I'm studying. I'm going to write social media posts in the language I'm studying. So, for example, sometimes I see some of you have like a Twitter feed that's just in the language you're studying. That's great. In my case, I try to write, like when I post on Instagram, usually I use Instagram, I always write it in English and in Japanese. I try to, like 95% of the time, write English and Japanese. I challenge myself to always use my second language it helps me to find new vocabulary words, and I have to think in a different way about how to communicate the idea. So these are just a few examples of steps you can take to work towards your goal. Of course, building language skills, but also working on your personal skills, yeah? Okay, all right. I don't see any other questions, so I think we'll stop here for part 2 then. So think about this for yourself. What steps are you going to take to achieve your goal? What do you want to achieve? How do you need to get there? Break it down. And you can do this for any goal, right? Not just your language goals. Okay, cool. We'll take one more quick break and then we'll go to part 3 where we cover study resources. Okay, so if you missed it earlier, there is a banner at the bottom of the screen that says test your level now. If you want to do our team's level check, you can find it from the link below the video on YouTube or above the video on Facebook. You will find this page. So if you scroll down, this part is at the bottom of the page, but when you click on the link, you will find this. So you can log in here. If you have an account at EnglishClass101.com, you can log in here. If you do not, you can make a free one here, and then scroll down. You can find the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to take the test, and then check this information to see the recommended pathways, the recommended courses, yeah? Some people say, where's the link? The link is, if you're watching on YouTube, in the YouTube description. If you're watching on Facebook, it's in the information part. If you're watching on the Facebook feed, it's above this video, or maybe to the right of this video if you're watching it really big. So check that, okay? All right, let's go to part 3 for today. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit the like button, yeah, and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. All right, let's go to the last part, part 3. What are your study resources? What are your study resources? So this means, what are you going to use to study? So this is important because maybe you have your goal, maybe you have many steps to achieve your goal, but some people go, oh, okay, what should I even use to study? I know what I want to do, I know how I need to get there. So if you know your study resources, you can sit down at your desk or at the TV or whatever. You already know everything. You already have everything you need to succeed for that study session, right? So let's review some things you can use for your study resources. If you have other ideas, send them in the chat. If you have recommendations for YouTube channels or podcasts or books or whatever, send them in the chat and you can share them with your digital classmates, yeah? So some examples for vocabulary studiers like me, flashcards, especially spaced repetition flashcards. I talk about these a lot. We have spaced repetition flashcards at EnglishClass101.com. You can use those. There are some other services on the internet where you can find spaced repetition flashcards. Spaced repetition, if you don't know this, repetition, right, means repeating something, yeah, every day or every week, right? When you study with flashcards, you repeat the vocabulary words, right? So spaced repetition means there's a little break in between when you see the new flashcards, when you review the flashcards. So these help you to study because they give you a break between the words that are easy for you, yeah? If a word is easy for you, you see it less often. If a word is hard for you, you see it more often. So you can find these at EnglishClass101.com or wherever you like to use spaced repetition flashcards. So I love flashcards for vocabulary study. Helped me a lot. Okay, next, of course, a textbook. If you have a textbook that you use, great. Maybe you do one chapter each week or like one grammar point every 3 days or something. So if you have a textbook, that's great. Your teacher is also a resource. Your teacher is also a resource. So of course, your teacher, when I say your teacher, I mean the teacher in your classroom or in your community. Lots of you send me messages every day. There are millions of you, so I can't get to all of your messages. Live ones sometimes, yeah. But talk to your teacher. Ask your teacher questions. That's what they're there to do, right? They're there to help you. Ask your teacher questions. Make mistakes in front of your teacher so they fix you, you know? So don't be afraid of your teacher. Don't be afraid. Ask those questions in your lessons. That's the point. That's the purpose, yeah? So don't forget your teacher. Don't forget your teacher. Also, YouTube channels are definitely a resource. So of course, there are language learning channels like ours, English Class 101, and of course many other super great language learning channels too. Also, don't forget, check out content, check out YouTube channels that are English speaking, but not language learning, right? So look for a YouTube channel that's about your hobby in English, yeah? So this can be a really good way to pick up vocabulary words that you already want, or sorry, vocabulary words that are about your hobbies, about the things you're interested in. Okay, so YouTube channels can be definitely super helpful. Also, you have the person's face and you have captions sometimes or subtitles sometimes. So this is a really good resource. Next resource, language learning apps or language learning websites. So I know many of you use our app on our website. Thanks so much for that. But make sure if you have a subscription somewhere, make sure you use it every day. Or maybe you have some email service thing or some kind of language practice website. Make sure you use that resource, okay? And then conversation partner. Conversation partners, of course, super popular. If you have an online one, yeah, just make a weekly arrangement or something like that so you both can practice. Others, of course, TV, movies, and social media. These are great resources. However, just make sure that when you use these, you don't just do passive study. So passive study means, for example, you turn on a movie in English in the background and you clean your house, but you don't pay attention. So make sure if you use TV and movies, social media, or even YouTube channels, make sure you also actively participate. You listen actively, or you find new vocabulary words in that media. Yeah, so don't be passive always about your studies. Okay, next one. For some people, if your family and friends are native speakers, use them as a resource. Practice with them, practice your new language skills with your family and friends, with the people you already know. Okay? All right, and then the last ones, of course, are books and podcasts and journals. So when I say journals, I mean you write something every day, So make sure that you are creating something with the language you're learning, okay? So take notes, write little interesting vocabulary words you find. There are so many things that you can do to improve your language skills. There are so many good study resources. Omen says, if you're a native speaker and you see a new word written that you have never seen in your life, how do you know how to pronounce it? I always had that question. Oh yeah, in my case, I see a new word. This happens all the time. You see a new word in an article or book somewhere. I take that word and I type it into Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So search for English dictionary in Google. Merriam-Webster will come up in the search results. That's the Standard American English Dictionary. They have a pronunciation button next to each word. You can click the audio icon and it will play the pronunciation of that vocabulary word. That's how I check the pronunciation of new words. Or if you read IPA, you can also check the pronunciation that way. Okay? Phew! All right, so these are some resources to use. But basically, I want to give you, I hope, a very simple 3-step process for your goals this year. So 1, what is your goal? Don't make this your goal. What is your goal? Make a specific goal for yourself. Part 2, ask yourself, what steps are you going to take to achieve your goal? And 3, what are your resources? Okay? So break those things down to make yourself your goals for the year. All right? Cool. Phew. It is time to wrap up for today. So I hope that you found something helpful. I hope that you got some information about good goal setting, especially. As I said before, I've made a lot of videos about goal setting in the past. So do a quick YouTube search on the English Class 101 YouTube channel, and you can find the past lessons about this. I talked about SMART goal setting in many videos in the past. So you can search for that too. Okay, all right, so I have to finish up for today, but if you want to take a screenshot of today's lesson boards, get ready, here you go. So today we talked about your goal, how to set your goal, the steps you take to achieve your goal, and your study resources. So I hope that you got some good ideas, all right? I will be back next week. Here is next week's lesson information. Next week's lesson next week will be Wednesday, January 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please use your Google skills, or you can set a notification on YouTube or on Facebook, or if you follow me on Instagram, I always share a topic reminder and a link in my Instagram stories. So you can find my social media, my Instagram and Twitter, in the YouTube description. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to use conditionals with future tense. So if A, then I'll be, for example. So a little conditional review in next week's live lesson. Okay, so join me again next time. Alrighty, I have to wrap up. I have to say goodbye for this week. So thank you so much for joining me for the first live stream of 2022. I hope you had a great holiday and you have a great day and or a great weekend. And I will see you again next time. Thanks very much for liking and sharing the video. And don't forget to check out the level check. Okay, I'll say goodbye. So thanks again, everybody. See you